Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant, and this morning I'm at the Charles Cox Property Group offices, and I'm with Carla Ashdown, who is the property manager. Morning, Carla.
Good morning.
How are you?
Okay, thank you.
Good. So a little bit about Charles Cox Property Group. They're an independent property management company with offices in New Haven, Eastbourne and Brighton. Now, Carla, you work out of the Eastbourne branch, which is in Willingdon, isn't it?
Yeah, at the Triangle down in Willingdon.
That's it, yeah, I've seen it as you drive past.
Yeah.
Actually, at Christmas, I spotted it because they had lots of nice Christmas lights out front.
We had it all decorated. It looked lovely.
Yeah, it was really nice, wasn't it? So let's start off the interview, Carla, because you're quite new here. You've been here for 5 months.
I have, yeah.
Let's talk about how what you did before that, which made you end up in this position.
Well, I've been doing retirement properties for 15 years.
Okay.
So I did around 10 years managing mobile home retirement sites. I had a site in Sussex and a site in Kent.
Okay.
With one was 162 units.
Wow.
Another one was just a small one up in Kent, and I managed the day-to-day running of that.
Okay.
Then I moved to one of the largest retirement companies for housing in the country, and I worked for them for 5 years. But I actually did start doing that from site.
Okay.
So I wasn't actually managing property at the time. I started with the contractors, the site, the build, etc., and then went through to managing the building.
Right, okay.
So there was 2 blocks that I was involved in. Mm-hmm. One was 58 flats, right, and the other one was 32.
Okay.
And obviously I managed those on a day-to-day basis, a little bit like what we do here, but in one building. So whereas with Charles Cox, we have somebody that does the admin and the compliance and the accounts. Although we didn't do the accounts, we were responsible for the compliance for each of our buildings. So we did everything at once per building.
Right, okay.
And now it's slightly different because we've got Vicky here that does the compliance for us.
Yes.
And obviously I haven't just got 2 blocks, I've now got over 30.
Is it over 30,
yeah,
is it? Oh
yeah.
My God. But a similar sort of role. I mean, you're still looking after the maintenance and things that go wrong,
sure,
and are you looking after the people that live there as well?
Yeah, it wasn't any sort of care, but obviously with the type of person I am, I always made sure they were safe and they were okay. And if it snowed, I wanted to make sure, that it was gritted and they'd got milk and those sort of things. And during COVID as well, obviously being vulnerable and elderly, we had deliveries of food and stuff just to make sure that, they were fed and warm. Although they couldn't socialise, they were safe, etc. So yes, very different because we don't really have a people caring role as such here. Although we obviously care about our leaseholders and stuff, it's different because you're not in the building with them all the time.
Yeah, it's different. I was going to say to you, obviously it's different because there's a lot more property here to look after.
Yeah.
But really the morals of it and the day-to-day stuff, it is quite similar.
Yeah.
And really, other than a
building, is a building, regardless if it's retirement, if it's a commercial, if it's, habitable, there's always jobs with the roof or whatever, regardless of what's inside it.
I expect there's always a call coming in with something needs doing.
Absolutely.
And you've got to manage that.
Yeah.
So moving on to where you are now, with property manager, what does that entail? What does your job do?
Well, basically we're looking after the buildings on behalf of the leaseholders and freeholders. Really, my day-to-day thing is I come in, look at my emails, see what's coming overnight, attend to anything urgent.
Yeah.
Obviously lately with the weather, we've had some really inclement weather.
Yes.
And obviously we've had issues with wind, with blowing things off or over.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the intense amount of rain, we've got leaks. We then have problems with gutters overflowing, and contractors are so busy because everyone's having the same issue across the whole country. Yeah. So that can take a bit of time, but it's basically about communicating with people to say we're on it, Don't think we've forgotten. It's just the chain. Yeah. We're waiting. Yeah,
and you have contractors around that you always call upon for if a roof goes down or a leak happens.
Yeah, we tend to. I mean, obviously, if it's a smallish issue, we use our regular contractors that we know are good, etc., and we've got on our books, we've got all their approval of PLI and everything like that. Should a leaseholder say, well, Uncle Tom Cobley to look at it. We'll say, well, that's fine, but let us have his PLI and make sure he's all legal. Public liability insurance.
Yes, of course, yeah.
To make sure that they're all legit and everything, and we haven't got a cowboy working on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we're always welcome for people to suggest their own contractors, but we like to make sure that it's all above board and they've got insurances and experience, etc.
Yeah. Other than the weather, what other issues are you faced with?
Well, we get quite a lot via the compliance team as well.
Yeah.
With regard to fire risk assessments.
Okay. Yes, Vicky spoke about that.
Yeah. So there's obviously always work for that. Day to day, it can be arranging people's fire alarm maintenance, emergency lighting, which isn't Vicky's as such. It's a regular contract thing rather than a one-off inspection, result of an inspection. So we do all things like that. And then obviously if we have got a leak, for example, we've got to investigate the leak. We've got to find out if it's a freeholder issue, because we do have blocks of flats which are above shops, which are freeholds owned by another company. It can be quite complicated.
Yeah. The team around you, Carla, do you work well with them?
Yeah, we've got a really good team here. Obviously, Matt Cox, our owner, he's really helpful. He's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's quite involved with all the properties. He tends to know a lot about the properties through experience from taking them on. His memory's fantastic.
Yes.
You could ask him a question, he'll be like, yeah, I think so and so. And, he's really great like that. Yeah. So he's great for firing questions at if you don't know.
Yeah.
Vicky does the compliance. She's super helpful. And all the other PMs, although some of us are new to it, some of them have been there a long time, and everyone's really great at helping each other.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot of overlapping with jobs where other people can help you with other things.
That's right. And the same with accounts. I mean, quite often we get accounts queries from our clients, and the accounts quite happily will speak to the client and explain things.
Yeah.
And everybody is ever so helpful. The admin team are great.
Yeah.
Andrew does all the computers and admin.
Yeah.
They've always got time to help.
Yes.
Which is really important, especially when you're in a new role, to feel supported.
Yeah. You're going to have questions all the time, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Unsure about things when you're new in a company. And that's really cool. Yeah, I've spoken to Andrew and we did him on the podcast. So maybe I'll put a link up here so people can see interview Andrew, because he's like the office manager, I believe.
That's correct.
Yeah. What you've been here 5 months.
Yeah.
You obviously enjoy it.
I do.
What is there anything that you really like about it the most? I mean, it's obviously your industry, what you've been doing.
Yeah, I like the variety.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't. When I look at my emails on a Monday morning, I think, oh, what am I doing? But you get through it. You get your help from your colleagues. It's nice to have a variety.
Yes.
I mean, at the moment, I'm doing budgets, which isn't my favourite job, as you can imagine. I've got a lot of them. But you do them. I try and scatter them out so it's not a whole day. But I know that there's going to be something else that's going to come up in between doing the budget, so it's not a constant thing for me. I just like the variety, really.
And do you go out to the properties?
I do on occasion. Yeah.
I mean, really, your role is within the office and managing it from there.
Yeah.
But
we do have someone that works for us that goes out and looks at our property as well and does minor repairs.
Yeah.
So that's really handy. He can feed back to us. He'll go and say, oh, I've just been to this building and I've noticed this. Or someone will ring up and say, oh, we've got a stair nosings come loose. He'll go out and fix that. So we've got somebody that can be programmed in to go out and do these little jobs as well, which is really useful.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're nearly at the end of January now, aren't we? It's 25th of January, which is going so quick. Do you know, or you personally got any plans to work within going forward within the business?
At the moment, I'm still
finding your feet.
Still finding my feet. Yeah, I haven't, 6 months yet, and every day is different. And obviously the seasons. Obviously, in the winter, we've had, like I said, all these water ingress and gutters and what have you. So I'm sure summer will bring a fresh challenge, whereas we've had the wet in this last few months. So it'll be interesting to see
how
through
that
the
changes.
year how the job changes with everything.
Yeah, it changes with the seasons.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, thanks, Carla. It's been really great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me in. Anyone that's got any questions about property management, they can get in touch with you, Carla.
They can,
I believe,
by all means.
Via the Charles Cox website, or all the details will be on this podcast. Carla's very approachable, as you can see, and it's been really good talking to you. So
thank you ever so much.
Okay, thanks again, and we'll see you for another podcast soon. Thank you.
I hope so. Thank you. Bye.